Welcome to Total Fitness Thursday. Today's routine is called the squeeze. It is highly unusual in that it is pure calisthenic today. There is no kit required at all. No kettlebells, no dumbbells, no steps, nothing. Just yourself and a bit of space. It's a good one to do if you're anywhere, if you're away, and you want something that you don't need any kit for. This is a good one to return to. So it's worth sort of bookmarking it for that reason alone. The squeeze. It is quite tough. There is a psychological element, as I'll explain in a bit. What I advise is just think the minute ahead and no further. Don't start thinking what you've got left, because it'll start getting there. Anyway, let's get warmed up and then I'll explain exactly what I mean by all that. And it'll all become clear. As always, there's ways of scaling it down, so don't worry, there's always a way you can adapt it. Right, okay, jumping up the top first finishing for you as well. The 15-minute EMOMs, that's every minute on the minute, 15 minutes. You've got 3 exercises to squeeze into each minute. Obviously, the tighter you get, the less stress you get. As it takes longer and longer. Now, 15 minutes, like I said before, psychologically, try not to think, oh my God, 14 more left, 30 more left. Put it to one side, don't think about it. Just think about the next minute, and that's it. Then we can start. Once you're past 10, then it's probably safe to start up 4 left. You know, that's something that's a lot easier. Okay? So, on the minute, every minute for 15 minutes, here's the first circuit. So, you've got the choice on the first one of donkey kicks or broncos. So broncos is like a double kick up. So you're almost like going into a handstand really, and then back. It is really tough. You've only got to do 6 of them. But for most people, they're probably going to want to do like an alternate leg, which is more of a donkey kick. So either way, your start position is here. Okay? So you're going to go squeeze the glute. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, okay? That's the easier version. If you want the tougher version, you literally kick it up with both legs. 1, 2, okay, which is obviously very tough. 15 rounds of it gets really tough. So only 6, then you're going to do 3 mini broad jumps, okay, so you can use your mat, or whatever you want really. At home, as long as you're getting that sort of distance. So a little hinge, jump, turn, jump, turn, jump, 3 reps, and then finally, you'll walk out, hand walk, push up for 3 reps. Okay? So 6 donkey kicks, or your bronco kicks, choice is yours. The latter being much harder. 3 half broad jumps and 3 hand walks push up. Okay, within each minute for 15 minutes. Okay? Right, let's give it a go then. Once you're in, you're in. All 3, 15 minutes, here we go. Right, a couple of minutes. We have got another one of them. Coming up. This time though, 3 different movements. Okay, so your next one then. Same template. 15 minutes. Okay, but again you can adjust some of these rep-wise. So, 6 player lunges, 6 press-ups, 6 burpees. Okay, so what you're going to do is adjust the another chance. Adjust the burpees at the end. So rather than doing 6, do 5, 4, 3, 3. Okay, so player lunge or normal lunges. 6. So there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Remember, stay on your train tracks. Imagine you're still on a train track. Okay, you want to keep your knee. Okay, and foot and shoulder all in line. Not like this. Okay, that's where you're going to struggle. And that's what tends to happen. You've got the tight hips, everything's pulled in. Yeah, the torso is pulled forward and the knees are pulled that way. We want the opposite. Okay? And that's more than most evident when you lunge. So if you use a mirror like in here, we have this mirror, you can tell if that's happening. Okay? See that? Which is a lot of people, it will happen. And it will take months to get rid of it. But get rid of it, and I promise you everything changes. The movement patterns in the whole body, all from that Q angle. Anyway, 6 around. Then straight into 6 push-ups. Do them kneeling if you need to. Okay, chest to floor if you can. Remember, pull the shoulders down. Okay, that. Imagine you're reaching into your deepest pockets. Okay, then keep that tension on. Get down. Hand level with the lower chest, not up here. There. That's the perfect angle. Okay, 6 press-ups. And then finally, just flowing straight into your 6th press-up and then start your burpees. 6 of them, max. Okay, but feel free to adjust the rep scheme here. Make it work for you. You need about 20 seconds rest really. Otherwise, you're going to struggle. Okay? So feel free to change the reps within reason. But of course, you want to push yourself, and if you're capable, then do the full whack. Okay? Right. Forget about it for the first 10 minutes. Just think about the minute in front. Okay, here we go. 3, 10 seconds. It just breaks you. So well done getting through that. Like I say, if you're absolutely insane, you want to do that on your own when you're on holiday, it is ideal because you don't need anything. And you're working everything, legs, upper body, core, heart, lungs. It's a great one to keep you going when you've got no kit with you. Right, the finisher then. In 1 second, you just need a mat. We're doing some squeeze based ab finisher as well. We're doing some hold 10s. So basically you're going to contract at the hardest point of the ab exercise and hold it, squeeze for 10 seconds, release for 4 seconds, turning back on for 10. Okay, so we're going to do toe touches and bows. Okay, so toe touches, you're there, floor, you're going to hold your legs the whole time, up, squeeze 10 seconds, reaching as high as you can. Ideally, I'm trying to keep my hands at my toes. Okay, if you can't reach that far, that's fine, do what you can. Release for a second, 3, 2, 1, up, hold. Okay? So it's 10 second squeeze, 4 seconds off. However, I want you ideally each for 4 seconds to hold your legs up. And that in itself is quite tough. Particularly if you can't get them straight, because that means there's more weight then sort of past the line of the hip, which makes it tougher. Okay? So just do what you can. Okay? 10 reps. Have a little breather, and we're going to do the same for the boat. So you're alive, you're going to come in, hold 10 seconds. Okay. Out. 3, 2, 1. In. Okay. You can hold the boat to make it easier, arms out, to make it tougher, arms back. Okay, you can do a mixture of that. See how you go. So just two drills to do. These are the best sort of ab drills because it uses the main job of the core, if you like, is to restrict movement rather than creating. Whereas most muscles, like your bicep, clearly its primary objective is to sort of move. But with your core, holding is its primary role really, so to limit and protect your spine. Okay, so that's why these sort of hold 10s work so well with abs, I think. Right. Give me a second to set it up, and we'll give it a little go. And remember, the stronger your core, the less, your back and all that will benefit from this. That's its role. Bear with me. Enjoy your rest. Okay. Let's get ready for this then. So, toe touches first, okay? Right, here we go. Oh, damn. Okay, next one then. 3, 2, hold, 10. good. So, if too much on your hip flexors, you can always just do like a hollow body hold instead. Because it does pull on the old hips, this one. Right, okay, you ready? Last one. 10 reps. Very effective, gets you very good at the particular exercise that we're working on. While you're back, in just 2 minutes with total mobility. The total opposite of that. We're going to deep stretch and relax. Okay? And you're going to float out the room at the end of that. You're half an hour, that's all it is. And again, you need nothing but yourself. So we'll be back in 2 minutes. If not tomorrow, we've got the Zoom. Okay, so very much about mobility and strength through range. Okay, just a set of dumbbells, get a minimal kick of that as well. So hopefully, see you in 2 minutes or tomorrow. I'm off Saturday for a spa break to rest my weary bones. Then I'll be back. Anyway, see you in 2 minutes or tomorrow. Well done.